We all know that person. A pipe bursts, a car won't start, or a digital file goes corrupt, and while everyone else is spiraling into a panic, they just get quiet. They don't immediately reach for their phone with trembling hands to search for an answer. They pause, they observe, and then they start moving. Meanwhile, you're left wondering why your own first instinct was to sit down and cry. So, what actually separates these fixers from everyone else? It isn't just about having more experience. Once you understand the underlying psychology, you'll start recognizing the pattern everywhere. In the late 1970s, psychologist Albert Bandura introduced a concept called self-efficacy. Put simply, this is the belief that you are capable of managing the situation in front of you. It isn't just staying positive, it's a very specific internal conviction. I have handled things before, and this problem can be handled too. Bandura discovered that this belief alone dictates how long a person will persist and how much effort they'll exert when things get difficult. But where does this mindset begin? It often starts with something small. Think of a child who wiggles a loose wire and sees the lamp flicker back to life, or someone who reboots a frozen computer and watches it start up. In that moment, something deeper than the lamp or the computer is fixed. Their self-perception shifts. The world is no longer something that simply happens to them. It becomes something they can influence and change. Bandura called these mastery experiences. They are the most potent source of self-efficacy. It's not about being told you're capable. It's about the visceral memory of actually being capable. It's a learned relationship with the unknown. Another layer to this is what Julian called the locus of control. People who feel they have an internal locus of control believe their own actions determine their outcomes. Research shows these individuals aren't just better at fixing things, they are more resilient against depression and handle stress without their lives falling apart. The sense that your effort actually matters is one of the most protective traits a person can have. However, it's important to note that not all fixing comes from a place of quiet strength. For some, being the fixer was a survival strategy. They learned that they only earned approval or felt safe when they were providing a solution. For them, helplessness was a risk they could no longer afford to take. You can spot this coping mechanism version of a fixer because they literally cannot relax. If you try to handle a task yourself, they hover and offer unsolicited advice. To them, an unfixed problem in the room feels like an unfixed problem inside their own chest. Then there is the other kind, the fixer driven by genuine curiosity. For them, the gap between broken and working is the most interesting place in the world. They fall in love with the process of figuring it out, rather than just the result. If you aren't one of these people, I want to be clear. It's not a character flaw. It's likely just your history. If you've been taught that problems are things that happen to you, that's an architecture that can be rebuilt. Self-efficacy is built through small wins, not heroic feats, but tiny moments where you tightened a screw or made a difficult call instead of waiting for a savior. Understanding this is the first step. But awareness without action is just more material for your brain to loop over. If you feel stuck in that gap between knowing and doing, check the pinned comment. I've put together a 7-day reset bundle designed to help you break through overthinking and build the consistent follow-through needed to start seeing yourself as the person who can handle whatever comes next.